turn on your camera, you might end up in the recording, just FYI. And you can play whatever music you like as long as your camera is muted or your microphone is muted. And let's go ahead and get started. All right. Hopefully everyone can hear me all right. Hopefully the volume is good. So let's begin just by finding a seat. Close our eyes. Allow all the tension to release from the face and the jaw. Letting the shoulders relax down away from the ears. Allowing the breath to find its own depth and its own rhythm. As we let go of trying to control how we feel or trying to make anything happen, something very interesting happens is our awareness becomes more acute. We automatically become more present, more awake. Don't take my word for it. Notice that when you are trying to make something happen, you're trying to control a situation, you are less aware. So the more that we can just allow everything to be as it is, and this is an inner allowing, not talking about what you're physically doing. This is in our heart and our mind. We just sort of give everything, including ourselves, just permission to be what they are, as they are. Then we begin to really soak in and soak up our reality more fully and more completely. From this increase in awareness, we actually find we become better actors in our life. So quite ironically, we might actually find that we have better control of situations by letting go of trying to control the situation. And I don't like that word control. I prefer influence. So we might find that we have better influence. We can influence things in a better way when we aren't trying to control a situation. So let's bring our attention to our breath. And let's influence our breath. Let's try and coax a deeper and more full breath. This does many things for us. It helps control and regulate the nervous system. It helps us to release toxins that can build up in the lungs. It helps us get a fresh set of oxygen and prana into our body. So you've all studied with me in the past. We're going to do the 3-part breathing. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. So notice that there's that intention to breathe deeply. And if we make too much effort, we begin to strain. And ironically, we won't breathe as deeply as we could if we were doing it in a more relaxed way. And then we'll add the ujjayi sound, the ocean sound, back of the throat. Soft hissing sound on each inhalation and each exhalation. Good. I want to start today with a little sideways movement. So right where you're sitting, inhale, reach through the fingertips, leaning to one side. Exhale back to center, and then inhale, stretch the opposite ribs. Exhale back to center. And just moving side to side a few times gently. Just creating a very simple flow here. Inhale, reach. Exhale, back down. Good. Good. We'll come back to center. Let's move into tabletop. We'll move the spine a few times back and forth. So inhale, tailbone lifts, belly drops, crown of the head up. Exhale, tailbone tucks, back rounds, crown of the head down. And coming back to neutral, let's tuck those toes. We'll lift up and back into down dog, and we'll walk the dog. So just pedaling back and forth, stretching out the lower limbs there. Good. Now we're coming into our full expression of the downward facing dog, and we're still using the deep 3-part breathing and that ocean sounding breath. Okay, let's walk our feet to our hands. We'll come into a brief ragdoll. Dangling here, relaxing as much as possible. Nodding the head or shaking the head a few times. Swaying the hips, bending the knees. And with the arms relaxed, we'll inhale and gradually roll up to standing. Good. Once we're upright, let's take a look at our shoulders. Rolling the shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Let's do that 3 times. Just noticing what's there. This might also help release tension. And then 3 times in the opposite direction. Back, up, forward, and down. Good. Let's do a few rounds of Sun Salutation A. We'll start with a very simple variation, and then we'll work up to a more complex or difficult variation. Let me just take a look at the chat here. Okay. All right. So as we inhale, we'll draw our arms up, touch palms, and lift the heart, coming into a nice standing back bend. As we exhale, we come forward and down and place the palms flat, bending the knees if we need to, and letting the neck relax. With the inhale, we'll come to our fingertips and look forward as we lengthen through the crown of the head. As the exhale, let's plant the hands and step back to the top. We'll push up, aligning our ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and heels. Excellent. Strap our knees for the first one so we can focus on the shoulders and arms. Make sure your shoulders are engaged, and then bend those elbows. Keep them in at your sides as you lower down about halfway. Take a breath here. It's kind of an awkward position. And then as you exhale, lower the rest of the way down. Release the tops of the feet to mat. Press them into the mat. Draw those elbows in, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, press up to cobra, but leave your hip points on the ground, the front of the hips. Exhale, lowering down. Tuck the toes, and press back to tabletop first, and then to downward facing dog. Let's take a breath or two in our downward dog. Moving to the toes, we look between the hands, and with our next exhale, we make our way to the front edge of the mat. The next inhalation coming all the way up to the standing back bend, and we again exhale to forward fold. Maybe we try and fold in a little deeper this second time. And then inhaling again to the fingertips, lengthening, and exhaling again to the top of a push-up. So again, I think you all know it's your choice whether your knees are up or down. The main thing is to keep the integrity of what you're doing with your arms. So take a nice deep breath. We exhale, lower down halfway. And then on our inhale, we could do cobra, or this time we can do up dog. With the exhale, coming straight back to down dog, or using tabletop to make the transition a little easier. Let's take a breath. Good. One more. So coming to the toes, inhaling. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. Inhale, standing back bend. And exhale, forward fold. And inhale to half lift. And exhale, see if you can jump to the bottom of a push-up. Then inhale to upward facing dog. And if you're able to, throw a push-up in on your way out, or go straight back to down dog. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to skip the half breath transitions because it really doesn't go well with teaching. I'll be kind of out of breath, so it's not very easy to teach when I'm out of breath. Not that I want you to be out of breath. Okay, so hopefully you're breathing very deeply and fully as you do that. And if you do get out of breath, take a child pose, catch your breath. Okay, so I'm going to guide you through each one. If your breath is faster, slower, you can go at your own pace. But try and not get too far ahead or too far behind. Okay, let's inhale to our toes. We're going to exhale to the front edge of the mat. Next inhale, come all the way up to standing back bend. As we exhale, we'll come all the way forward and down, emptying the lungs. Inhale to half lift. You could put a crow there if you want, crow pose. Exhale to the bottom of a push-up. Let's inhale to our upward facing dog. And we're going to exhale right back to down dog. Inhaling to the toes as you fill the lungs there. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of your mat. Inhale all the way up to standing back bend. Exhale all the way forward and down. Inhale to half lift. And exhale to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, tabletop push-up or straight to down dog. Let's do one more. So we're going to inhale, fill the lungs there, coming to the toes, looking forward. Exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of the mat. So you inhale, you come all the way up and back. And as you exhale, forward fold, empty the lungs. Inhale to half lift, one more time. And exhale, bottom of the push-up, low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale right back to downward dog. Good. Let's take a couple of breaths here. Again, I'm not really trying to wind you. I am trying to heat you up. So again, if you're going at the right pace, you're using the breathing techniques properly, that should be primarily what's happening. You're kind of building a little bit of sweat, a sheen of sweat. You don't have to be dripping sweat. That's not necessarily what we want either. Just a little bit of perspiration happening. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to sun salutation B. Let's begin with our chair pose. We're going to come to the toes, up in the hands. As we exhale, make our way to the front edge of our mat. Feet touching, knees bent. Inhale, sweeping up and back to the chair pose, also known as awkward pose. We want to sink those hips down and find the work in the legs. Then as we exhale, we can come forward and down, really folding in, especially as we warm up. Inhaling to half lift. And again, exhale to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale, up dog. And make your way back. Downward dog. Okay, good. Bring our feet to touch here. Let's inhale the right leg up and back. Okay, let's bend that knee, open up the hip a little bit. Move that leg around and possibly flip the dog over. Articulating our shoulder, lifting those hips. And then we'll come back and take the three-legged dog position. So the knee, the toes, and the hip are all pointing down. Good. From here, let's take a deep breath and we'll just touch our knee high up on our arm. Good. And inhale, lifting it up and back. We'll exhale the knee to the nose, chin, or forehead, just touching. Good. Inhale and exhale, opposite arm. Good. Let's kick that foot out, drop that back heel. If you don't feel stable, don't lift the arm, but if you feel okay, lift that left arm up, lift those hips up. Good. Exhale that hand to the ground. Inhale the leg up and back. We're going to exhale that foot between the hands. Dropping our back heel, let's inhale to a Virabhadrasana Warrior 1. Making sure the front foot and knee are tracking straight ahead. That front thigh is approaching parallel. The front foot, if you drew a line straight back from that foot, it would intersect the back foot at the heel of the arch. That back foot is firmly planted on the ground. Okay, and that back leg is straight. Left hip forward, right hip back. Breath is deep, rhythmic, slow. Beautiful. Let's take a deep breath here. We're going to exhale, bottom of our push-up. We'll make our way through to the downward facing dog. Okay, so other side, we're going to bring those feet to touch. Inhale that left leg up and back. Let's bend that knee, open up the hip a little bit. Give things a bit of a stretch. Then again, you may not feel comfortable doing this, but if you do, you can flip your dog over. It creates a type of back bend, an asymmetrical back bend. So it helps us strengthen the muscles in our back, and it lets us really move that shoulder around really freely in this position, strengthening the other shoulder as we do. Good. From here, let's return to three-legged dog, and let's really focus on the alignment of this posture. So our foot flexes, the toes, knee, and hip point down. We're going to keep that left hip level with the right hip. But notice I'm keeping that leg well lifted, so I'm not letting it relax, I'm not bending it. Good. Take a deep breath. Exhale, knee high up on the arm. Touch if you can. Good. I'm going to inhale up and back. Exhale, knee to the nose, chin, or forehead. Inhale. Exhale, opposite arm. Touch if you can. Kick it out. Drop the back heel. Inhale. Arm up. Good. Fallen triangle. Stretching up. Reaching up. Looking up. Good. Exhale the hand down. Inhale the leg up and back. And exhale, lunge. And drop that back heel and inhale up to Virabhadrasana on the other side. Good. Let's take a deep breath. Exhale, bottom of the push-up. And we flow back to downward dog. All right. So once again, I will not do the half breath transitions. but really going to encourage you to do yours. I know sometimes when you're doing class at home and you don't have to do something, if it's hard, you might skip it. But I really encourage you to do the half breath transitions. They're a very powerful technique. Okay, so we're going to inhale to our toes, exhale to the front edge of the mat. Bend our knees and we inhale to awkward pose, chair pose. Good. Exhale to forward fold, empty the lungs there. And then we inhale to half lift. Exhale to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog. We're going to exhale right back to down dog. We'll inhale the right foot forward and raise the torso for warrior one. So we're going to skip all that fancy stuff that we did. We exhale right back down to the bottom of the push-up. Inhale up dog and exhale down dog. Left foot, inhale forward, warrior one. So sweep right on up. And then exhale to the bottom of your push-up. Inhaling to upward facing dog and exhale back to down dog. Inhale to your toes, fill the lungs there and look forward. Exhale to the front edge of your mat. With your feet together, bend your knees and inhale as you sweep your torso up and back. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale to half lift. And exhale to the bottom of a push-up. Now inhaling to upward dog. We will exhale right back to down dog. Then inhale the right foot forward to warrior one. And exhale to chaturanga dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale right back to down dog. Inhale left foot forward, virabhadrasana or warrior one. Exhale to the bottom of the push-up, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale right back to down dog. Inhaling to the toes and filling the lungs there. As you exhale, step, jump, or float to the front edge of your mat. Inhale to chair pose, Utkatasana. And exhale to forward fold, Uttanasana. Good. Inhaling to half lift. We'll exhale to the bottom of a push-up. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale right back to downward dog. Inhale the right foot forward to Virabhadrasana. And exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana, low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale to downward dog. Left side, inhale, Virabhadrasana, sweep right on up. And exhale to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to upward facing dog. And then exhale right back to downward dog. Good. Take a few breaths in downward dog. Again, hopefully you're feeling warmed up, heated up. Now, some people feel at this point that they want to break. So if that's you, take a sip of water, take a child pose, rest for a moment. If you feel warmed up, you want to try something a little harder, an arm balance, an inversion, this is a great point to do that. You're nice and warmed up, but hopefully you're not too tired to try something a little bit challenging. And then if you're in the middle, I would just hold downward dog for a few breaths. Down dog in a vinyasa sequence like this is a restorative posture. It's a resting posture when it's done properly. Okay, so we're just going to take a few breaths. All right, so today we'll focus a little bit on the hamstrings and standing forward folds. So we'll inhale to the toes. As we exhale, so make our way to the front edge of the mat. And we'll inhale all the way up to standing. As we exhale, let's bring our arms out in front of us like this. I'm actually going to take a step back here. So we're standing like this with our arms straight out in front of us. And this is called the drinking bird, and it's a stretch for the back of the leg. I'm gonna take my left leg, so my feet are together, shift the weight over to my right foot, and I'm just gonna take the left foot and bring it forward and then back, and then I come forward and I fold in half until I feel a little stretch here. It doesn't have to be super intense, but just a little bit of stretch. And the more I lift this leg, the more stretch I get here. And then I come right back up. Okay, so maybe you've seen those dipping birds, drinking birds, they sort of dip down and then come back up. So that's kind of what we're doing here. All right, so let's do that some more. Kick back, stretch the back of the right leg, and come back up. So just we're moving the left leg, and the right leg is staying there. Good, that's 3. 4, do it as gracefully as you can. 5, and with each repetition, you might find you can go a little further with that, okay? Good. All right, now let's try same thing on the other side. So bring that right leg forward, bring it back. Good. So we're gonna do it 10 times here as well. Each time, again, you might go a little further, not because you're pushing, just because the body lets you go a little further. Beautiful. All right. Now we inhale, arms up, and exhale, forward fold. Inhaling, half lift, and we'll come right to the bottom of our push-up, making our way back to our downward dog. All right, good. From here, inhale that right leg up and back. We'll exhale to a lunge, and let's inhale to crescent lunge, Ashtha Chandrasana. All right, so let's do a little balance here. Exhale our arms out like wings. Okay, we'll join the index finger and the thumb together for Jnana Mudra. And then our next exhale, well, let's first find a drishti. So we're going to take our eyes and find a knot of wood or a spot on the ground to stare at. Steady our breathing. And then very gracefully with our exhale, we transition to standing on the front leg only, straightening that leg, bringing the back leg and the torso, and the arms all parallel to the ground. Okay, so coming into a warrior 3. I'm going to move back so I can sweep my arms forward. So if you have space and you can stay balanced, sweep your arms forward like so. Thanks for the full expression of warrior 3. If you want to challenge your strength more, you can bend your standing leg. So you can do kind of like squats with the standing leg and really fatigue that muscle. Okay, so it just depends how much challenge you want here. Good, let's take one more breath here. With the next exhale, we come forward and down, similar to what we did before. But now we're trying to do standing splits. So we walk our hands close to that standing leg. And if you can, try actually holding the foot with one, with both hands. We're lifting that back leg up, really folding in half here. Bringing our belly toward our thigh, lifting that back leg up. Good. Breathing. Good. From there, let's exhale, bottom of our push-up, and we'll make our way back to our downward dog. Awesome. So let's try that same sequence on the other side. We're going to lift that left leg up and exhale to crescent Inhale coming up. Good. Let's exhale those arms out like wings. Join index finger and thumb. Take a nice deep breath. And we exhale and transition off that back leg. Again, we try and get everything lined up parallel to the ground. Again, this is really easy. I can do squats here with my left leg, as long as my knee doesn't hurt when I do that. It's fine. Good, and then as we exhale, come forward and down. Standing splits. Again, the closer my hands come to my foot, the less, the harder it is to balance. So if I can, I actually try and grab the ankle so I have one point of balance, which is the foot. Again, I'm trying to fold in half here. Notice all those movements in that standing leg, right? Those little movements, they're not under your conscious control. It's kind of cool, huh? That's what's keeping you upright. All right, deep breath in, exhale, bottom of the push-up. Let's go ahead and make our way back to our downward dog. All right, beautiful. From here, let's come forward onto our belly. Let's rest the right hand on top of the left hand. Just take a breath here. I can definitely feel my heart beating in my chest. So, you know, because we're not lifting weights or running laps, we might think that yoga is easy or that it doesn't, you know, it's not a physically challenging practice. If you find your edge, it is. So it's not enough just to follow the directions. You need to be checked in, and you need to be willing to bring yourself to your edge. Okay, so let's look at a dynamic Shalabhasana next, which is the locust pose. So we bring our arms out at our sides, palms down. Legs are straight back behind us, parallel. And we'll exhale here. Our next inhale, let's go ahead and lift everything up. As we exhale, we'll come on down. And again, inhaling and lifting and exhaling down. Good, so we're going to do a total of 10. That was 2, so 8 more. Good, now this last one, let's hold it. So come on up. Hold, letting the face and jaw relax. So you can even let your fingers and toes relax, but still lifting up. Still breathing deeply, rhythmically, and slowly. Take one more deep breath. And as we exhale, we come back down. And let's bring the left hand on top of the right hand as we feel the second half of that pose. Beautiful. Okay, so from here, let's move into a cobra. Let's bring our feet together. So big toes touching, inside edges of the feet touching if possible. And we just gently press those tops of the feet into the ground. Let's draw our hands back so that the fingertips basically line up with the top of the shoulder, more or less. It's about where we want them to be. And we don't allow those elbows out. We pull them in. Good. Now we place the mouth, chin, or the forehead on the mat, whichever is most comfortable. Take those shoulders down away from the ears here. Exhale fully, and then as we inhale, we press into our hands. And let's lift up to a stage 1 cobra. So let's see if we can get those elbows and shoulders aligned. And our neck is just a natural extension of the spine. So this one is pretty easy, at least for me, it feels pretty easy. Then stage 2, we press up. We're going to keep those hip points down. Now this one is quite challenging because the arms are doing most of the work. Okay, so again, this can be very awkward, very challenging. And then moving up into Purna Shalabhasana, or Bhujangasana, we can straighten the arms. And then for the really full expression, you want to bend those knees. Okay, now mine isn't very pretty. You know, there are people who can touch their forehead to their toes. Some of that is proportion. So if I had a small little torso and long legs, that would make it a lot easier. Some of it is flexibility, but it's less flexibility than it might seem in many regards. I can still benefit by doing it though. So it doesn't matter if anyone wants to see me doing this. What's important is the effects it has on my body. Okay, so we're breathing here. We're going to take one more breath. And then we'll inhale, straighten those legs, and exhale. We come on down. Let's bring that right hand on top of the left hand, and again, the forehead on the back of our hands as we relax here. Beautiful. So let's do one more back bend on our belly in this same position. This is Dhanurasana, floor bow. We'll bend those knees. And let's see if we can reach back and grab those, either the feet or the ankles or the shins. Your feet can flex or point. That's up to you. Sometimes flexing the feet helps with your knees, so if you have sensitive knees. The legs are about parallel, and again, we start with our mouth, chin, or forehead on the mat. And let's exhale fully here. And as we inhale, we'll kick up and back, coming into our bow. Okay. Now, once you're there, try rocking a bit, and this helps to massage the digestive organs against the ground. You can also try rocking over to one side, kicking that leg back, just giving these a really good stretch. You can rock over to the other side, same thing, kicking back, coming back to center, kicking up, so really finding an edge, and then exhale, come on down. Let's bring the left hand over the right, and the forehead on the back of the hands again. Relax, breathe, and feel. Good. Let's take our arms out to the sides, palms down. We'll bend those knees, have our feet in the air. And let's go ahead and just drop our feet side to side a few times. So we're here like this. Let our knees drop. The hips move side to side as we do that. And that should feel good in your back. So if it doesn't, it might mean something's wrong. Maybe you're injured, or maybe you're not doing it quite right. Now, the more that we do this, the more relaxed our back should feel. That's ideally what we want. At a certain point, you probably won't feel like much is happening. Continuing with that, at which point you can press back into a child pose. Okay? And just relax in child pose once you're there. And breathe into your low back. Inhale and fill your back with breath. And exhale, release any holding, tension, or pain that is still there. Good. From there, let's come forward to a tabletop position. And from here, go ahead and do a little bit of work with our shoulders. So come forward onto the belly. And what we'd like to do is work into our right shoulder here. Make sure I get this right. So 1 and 2. Okay. So what we'll do is bring our arm out. Let's see here. Bring our arm underneath us like so. So we're going to lay down on our right arm. Okay? Palm is down. And the arm is underneath my chest. It's not under my neck. Okay? And then from there, my left hand is just resting alongside my left hip. Now, if I can, I'm going to take my right leg. Hopefully you can see me. I'm going to pull my right leg up like that. Okay, that's really getting into my shoulder. All right, so I don't want too much. Okay, so hopefully that's not too much for you. That is, bring that leg back down. And I definitely feel a stretch in my shoulder. And that's exactly what we want. So again, I can feel my body kind of resisting the stretch. So I'm going to breathe and try and tell my body to just relax. Good. And then let's switch sides. Bring that leg back down. Same thing on this side. I'm going to bring my arm underneath me. Over to the other side. Okay, I bring my right hand alongside my right hip, palm is up. Then I take my left leg and I try and move it over to the left. And that greatly increases the intensity of the stretch. Good. Let's return our leg back down, come out of that pose. And then from there, go ahead and push back into a downward dog. And from down dog, we'll bring our right knee forward toward our right wrist, coming into a pigeon. And you can stay upright in your pigeon if you'd like. If that feels good. You can bend that back knee, reach back, grab that foot. But the main thing I want you to feel is a stretch right here, okay, on the outside of the groin. You could also come forward and down and, still feel it here, which is what we want. So find a good stretch on the outside of the hip. And again, we're going to take a few breaths here, just to let that tension release from that part of the body. Good. Switch sides. So coming back through down dog. Inhale that left leg up and back. Exhale forward to a pigeon. Again, I can stay upright or I can come forward and down. The main focus is the outside of the left hip. Good. And now let's go ahead and come on back through down dog here. And from our down dog, we'll come down. So with our hips over our knees, bring our big toes to touch. And then let's take those knees as wide as they'll go. So you can either have your toes touching or you can bring your feet out like that. This is called a frog. And it's a groin stretch. So we're getting right there into the groin on the inside of the thighs. Each exhale, I want to feel at least a little bit of a release, a little bit of a let go. And that could be physical, mental, emotional, or all of the above. Good. From there, let's come back to tabletop. We'll cross those ankles, bring our legs out in front of us. Okay. Now we have our legs in front of us. And let's go ahead and look at the deer pose as a quad stretch. So let's try the right quad first. We're going to fold that right foot back. Take the left foot like this. Okay, so the left knee is outside. Now looking for a stretch here. Okay, so if I feel the stretch, then I'm good. I can just stay here. If you don't feel it, you begin lowering back. And you keep coming back until you get a stretch in the front of your thigh. And again, we're just going to breathe as we try and let that thigh relax. Good. If you're on your back, we're going to inhale, come back up. And we will switch our legs. So left foot alongside the left hip. Bring that right foot in. Again, if I feel the stretch, I stay here. If not, I begin to lower back. Good. Let's inhale, come back up. And then we'll take both legs out straight in front of us. Vipassana. So sometimes sort of lifting your buttocks up one at a time can help you really ground those sits bones. Now, if you can't stand or sit straight, your spine can't be straight, then just bend your knees until you can straighten your spine. Inhale, arms up, framing the ears, and exhale, forward fold. Good. Grab hold of the edges of the feet or the big toes. Inhale, reach to the crown of the head, extending. And exhale, gently pull yourself down as you fold into the forward fold. Extend your exhale twice the length of your inhale. Good. Arms to the ears. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, hands behind us, fingers pointing toward the buttocks. Just point those toes, and as we inhale, lift the hips up. If it feels okay in your neck, let your chin go back. Your next exhale, lowering the hips back down. So inhale those arms out in front of us, and as we exhale, we gradually roll back onto our back. Good. Once we get there, let's bring our legs in, give them a little squeeze. Try making some circles in one direction. And then try a few in the opposite direction. Good. Now release any breathing techniques. Let your breath be natural. And then drop the knees over to the left as you look to your right. Good. We inhale the knees back through center and we take them off to the other side. Look away from the knees. Good. Let's inhale those knees back to center. Let's grab hold of the soles of our feet. Coming into happy baby, drawing those knees down like we're trying to touch the ground with our knees. Feel those hips. Feel the legs in the back. Okay, then we take the legs, extend them out one at a time. Again, paying attention to what we feel as we do that. Then both legs together. Overhead, pulling and stretching. Good. And then when you're ready to relax, unwinding into Shavasana, corpse pose, on your back. Okay, so I'm going to leave you to do that on your own. But I really, really emphasize that it's important that you do it. So try and set a timer for about 6 minutes and just let yourself relax for that time in stillness, okay? I want to thank you all for joining me today. It was a lot of fun leading you through this practice. I hope to see you next week or maybe in the next class. And if you want access to more of my teaching, check out my Patreon page. I've got a lot of classes up there, and they're all donation based right now during the pandemic. So lots of different things: yin, yang yoga, pranayams, dharma talks, all kinds of stuff. All right, thanks again. I hope to see you next time or in the next class in 15 minutes. Namaste, everyone. Thanks.